Hello and welcome back to my channel where I make TBRs and realize I'm delusional. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Casty. If it's not, thanks for always tuning into my videos. Today we are doing my July TBR, which means we have to play my TBR game, which is a Snakes and Ladders inspired TBR game called Snakes and TBR Stacks. I'll roll the dice, I land on a prompt. If I hit a ladder, it's kind of a reward and I go up. If I hit a snake, I have to add another roll and it's really, really, really sad. That's all you need to know. For the month of July, I am drowning in required reads. I have 5 book club reads and also a Cup of Chaos read that I need to read. I need to get these on the TBR. Like, pronto, because I need to get these done. I have been procrastinating all of my books for the live shows, and now, I have to read them all in 1 month, and why did I do this to myself? I don't know, but I think I can do it still. I'm not going to tell you about any of those mandatory reads because I'm going to hope that I can get them on the TBR, and then if I don't, I will talk to you about them at the end of the video. But other than that, I didn't play my TBR game last month, which means I get to count this month as a win. I completed my TBR. I did the mood reading I wanted to do. So I only have to start with 5 rolls because I completed my TBR. I like punish myself when I don't complete my TBR and I do 6 rolls, which like, big whoop, I have to read more books. But we only have to do 5 rolls this time. Hopefully all 5 of my required book club reads take up those spots, but we will see if the TBR gods are nice to me. Let's just get right into the first roll. Last time we ended on start a series, so we start there for our first roll. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm already starting this with a snake, and we go down, but we hit Kindle. Okay, roll 1, we landed on a snake already. This is just such a great start to the month, start to the game. I barely land on snakes and ladders, I feel like, and here we are. Roll 1, landed on a snake. Sorry about a camera angle change. I was on my knees before, that's what she said, and now I got tired of that, so I'm sitting flat on my butt. But anyways, we landed on a snake. I'm not happy about that. But we did land on Kindle, which is fairly easy for me to complete. And for this one, I am putting Army of the Cursed, which is not any of my required reads. I'm already choosing Chaos and delusional with the amount of books I probably think I can read this month. But it wouldn't be my channel if I didn't think I could read 1,000,000 books. Army of the Cursed, I own the physical copy, but I do also have it on KU, and I typically read off KU just because it's easier for me most of the time when it comes to an indie if it's on KU. Army of the Cursed is an indie book. It was actually a semi-finalist in SPIFBO 7, I believe. One of the SPIFBOs, but I'm pretty sure it was 7. This follows a world where everybody knows that the Cursed was coming and nobody knew how to defeat them. I know it's a desert setting. I've read the first chapter of this before and I really, really, really enjoyed it. Really want to get into this. It is a non-Western setting. I'm obsessed with non-Western settings, and the author has talked to me a bit and he seems really nice, so I really hope I love his book. And there we go. That's it. I am moving on to book 2. I don't know enough about this to tell you a lot more, so let's move on to roll 2. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. New. Roll 2, I landed on new. None of my book club books that I need are new. So here I am, choosing Chaos again, and I'm also choosing a very chunky book, and I don't know if that's a good idea, but I really, 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 really want to get to this after I really enjoyed the first book in the series in June. So, Blood Solace by Vila Roth, which is the second book in the Blood Grace series. I read Blood Mercy for the last If You Like This, Then Read This booktuber recommendation vlog, and I adored this. I gave it 4 stars. I loved our 2 characters. I loved the world building in this. There's a lot of political scheming. It's setting up a really big political, high, epic fantasy, and also a fantasy romance. Like, there is a romance at the center of this political scheming world. And this is everything I've ever wanted in a fantasy romance. I've always wanted a fantasy romance that was actually high fantasy and romance, not like one takes over the other, and so I'm hoping it stays like pretty 50-50 for me throughout the rest of the series. It is a long series and they're chunky, but also stunning covers. Like this and the back of this book, stunning. In this, we're following our main characters, Leo and Cassia, who meet as diplomats for their races. You call them races, you call them species. One's a vampire called a Vesperine and one is a human. And they meet as diplomats and they kind of start talking and getting to know each other, and obviously more happens, but their two species aren't really the best of friends, and they're trying to like bridge that gap and help an alliance happen. I really, really loved the take on vampires on this, and chef's kiss. Leo is just a cinnamon roll main character, and he completely has my heart, and I cannot wait to read this. So excited to get to it. Roll 3. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Illustrated spine. Roll 3, and I landed on illustrated spine. This is the point where I think I'm kind of crazy because I'm still not picking a required read. And I probably have no excuses this time besides that this book was just calling to me when I got this prompt. And that's what's happening now, which is another fantasy romance. I'm in a fantasy romance mood. Like, I'm just wanting easy, bingeable reads. I want to fall in love with characters. I haven't really been in like a Sanderson Hobb type mood lately. I've been much more into like a Sarah J. Maas mood, and I read all of that. So I just like to like let my moods happen, and it helps my reading experience. It helps me have more 5 stars because I'm reading the books I want to read at the moment. So you will probably see a lot of fantasy romance on this. But the next one is The Crown of Oaths and Curses by J. Burry. I know literally nothing about this besides that Rachel from Raven-Haired Reader really enjoyed this recently, and when I look at her recommendations, I typically agree with them. I think that we are pretty on par for fantasy romance, and so I'm hyped to read this. J. Burry is a pretty beloved author. She writes a urban fantasy Why Choose series that I know a lot of people love. That's just like kind of not my vibe, so I wanted to start here instead. And also J. Burry is going to a Polycon next year, so I need to try her. And I do have to read a novella, I think, before this, but it's only a novella. I can do that, right? I can do that and this and everything else I need to read in July. I think I can. Also, both of these should probably be in a vlog at some point, so I did need to get them on my TBR eventually. Roll 4. 4. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another snake. The end of a or. And we go all the way down. And then we landed on the end of a or, which is a snake. So that's my second snake already. I am kind of cheating a little bit. This is a required read for me, but I have 2 picks that I could do. I have the next book in the Flame, Blood, and Ash series, or the next book in the Course of Dragons series, which is my Cup of Chaos pick. This is what Jane picked for me. I picked it last month, but I have 2 months to read it, so I still need to pick between those and decide which one I'm going to read, and I think I'm just going to let myself do that this time because both of them fit this prompt. This is a really vague prompt, so I don't mind this prompt at all. And whenever I'm in the mood to read one of those this month, I will read one. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Roll 5. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Video project. And a snake. Oh my god. And then we had roll 5, which we landed on another snake, another snake. I'm not very happy about this one. But for this one, it was video project, and I have lots of those going on, like a lot of those. So I chose Dark Dawn by J. Kristoff, which is the 3rd book in the Nevernight series. I'm doing a spoiler vlog for this series. I'm currently reading book 2, and I am really enjoying it, so I want to get to book 3. I felt like this was the perfect time to get this on because I do want to get that spoiler series out as soon as possible. My top tier patrons kind of get it as I go, but then when I'm done the entire series, it will be made public on my YouTube channel. I feel like I said that really weird. I'll make it public here for all of you guys to see. But yeah, I really want to continue this, so I need to get this done. If I land another snake, I'm gonna murder someone. Myself. I'm gonna murder myself. Roll 6. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah! Why does the board hate me so much? And another snake, so we go down and we had another roll, but we got spooky. Next roll, I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think it was possible to land on another snake, but here I am. I landed on spooky, and that's another snake. This time, at least spooky is quick and an easy read. I don't have any mandatory spooky reads currently, so for this I'm going to put on the new Riley Sager. It's a thriller technically, but I think I count spooky as like horror, thriller, mystery, like that type of genre. And I don't know anything about the new Riley Sager. I just know it's Riley Sager. I've read every other Riley Sager out. I love some, I hate some, and I think that they're just fun, and I'm really excited to read it and see if I like it or if I hate it. So it's going on the TBR. Roll 7. I'm gonna count that as a 7 and hope it's right. 5. That's a 7, right? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Elemental. And on roll 7, we landed on elemental, and this can be like any element in the title or like elemental magic or anything like that. It's a pretty vague prompt, but I'm gonna go for elemental magic and go with the Children of Fallen Gods, which is the second book in the War of Lost Heart series by Carissa Broadbent. I am reading this for FanRo Bookclub, which is a book club hosted by Sahar from Basically Bookish Reads. She asked me kindly to be a co-host, and I'm really excited to read the second book. I've heard really, really, really good things about this second book in particular in the series, so I'm hoping that this second book will be a new favorite for me. But it is chunky. Finally, a required read on the TBR. This series follows our main character, Tasana, who was sold into slavery, and then in order to free herself, she ends up escaping and going to like this thing called the Order, which is the only place that has enough ability to keep her safe from what she just escaped, and she works her way up with the magic and stuff in order to try and help the people that she left behind. And just like everything Carissa writes, there's a lot of deep discussions on trauma and abuse and things like that, and I think Carissa has a very beautiful style of writing that I really, really always look forward to reading. So this is the July FanRo Bookclub pick. I hope you guys are reading the series with us. Roll 8. Oh, we're getting into snake territory again. I don't like that. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Come on, let's do like a lucky. 3. 1, 2, 3. And for roll 8, we landed on binge, which is a new prompt that I added this year, and also the first time we've ever gotten this prompt. What this meant for me was that I could binge a series because I wanted to start doing that this year, and I could just continue doing the rolls to see if I hit snakes, but exempt the rest of them. But then someone brought up the problem of like what happens if it's like my last roll and all of that. I don't know if that made sense. So like I could binge a 3-book series and then I could just replace the next 2 prompts with that binge. I would still have to roll in case I hit snakes, but someone brought up that what if that was the last roll. So what I've decided to do is when I hit it, I can actually remove any past prompts to fit those binges. So for this, I am picking the Wheel of Time series, but not as a whole, just the 2 books that I do need to read this month. If you're following along in Wheel of Time I was not at the Book 3 live show because I hadn't finished it. So I need to read this and then read Book 4. Book 4 is quite chunky, but this one is quite small, so I think I can do it. I have the audiobooks ready. I am a co-host for Wheel of Time Along, hosted by Sandra over at Got a Thing for Things. We are on Book 4 for this month, with the live show being end of July or early August. And it's going. The read along is going. It's a reread for Sandra, a first time read for me, Mel, and Becca from Becca and the Books, and Mel from Eleanor Reads. But it's an interesting time. I don't love these books in any way, shape, or form. I'm giving it Book 4 to turn around for me, and then I will be heading out. I can't really sum this up for you. Wheel of Time Along is an expansive, high epic fantasy where we're following the Chosen One as he tries to save the world, essentially, and put it back into normalcy. I don't really know. That was a terrible, terrible summary. I actually hate talking about Wheel of Time on my channel, specifically not liking it, because there is something about this series that people like to tell me how I should feel about it, and I hate that. I'm allowed to have my own opinions, and something that I find with some of these more loved series, sometimes I don't want to read them in case I have different opinions, because people come into my comments telling me, well, you just need to wait it out. You can't judge it on book 4, you have to wait till like book 10, which is fine. That is fine, except for the fact that like people will like be pissed off that I don't want to wait through it. That's my own personal opinion, that I don't want to read 10 books that I dislike. I don't want to have to wait until a book series gets better. And that's my own personal thing. I can have my own personal opinions on something, and I'm not personally attacking your opinions, and I just hate talking about Wheel of Time on my channel, because I feel like it often happens where people think I'm attacking their opinions because I don't like it, and it's such a beloved series, and it's a series that holds such a like close place in people's hearts, but it just doesn't work for me, and that's okay. But I am just giving it book 4. If I don't give book 4 at least a 3-star, I'm piecing out A Wheel of Time along, because I don't think people want to hear me complain about this series for another 10 books. So if this doesn't catch me, I think I'm out. I have to remove a book for that because it was a binge. I actually will be removing the spooky book, so I will be removing the Riley Sager off my TBR. It's a book that I can squeeze in when I need to squeeze in. I don't really have any vlog ideas for it, so it is piecing out, but I do still want to read it. I'm really excited to read it. And we do have to do another roll, so roll 9 in case I land on a snake. I think I'm good, actually. I think I can't land on a snake. 10. Oh god. Oh god, oh god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I jinxed myself. Indy and a snake. And then we landed on another snake. Another snake. That's the 5th snake in this video. Like, what? Like, I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed at the board. Why did it do this to me this month out of all months? But also, I have so much I need to read that, like, I think it just knows. Like, it just knows that I'm a delusional reader. Like, I literally think that I have time to read 40 books a month. I don't. I'm not that reader, especially in the summer. Like, I cannot read that many books, but I still think I can. On this one, at least it was indie, so this was really easy for me and does let me get another book club read in, which is The Crimson Queen by Alec Hudson. Another book that went pretty far in SPIFBO. I want to say SPIFBO 3, but I'm not sure on that. I'm just ballparking. Don't quote me on it, but it did go far in SPIFBO, and I'm really excited to get to it. I read Alec Hudson last year because Alec Hudson had a finalist in SPIFBO 8, and I really, really enjoyed The Umbral Storm. So Mel and me picked The Crimson Queen, which is the series he wrote before, as one of our picks for Indie Archive, which is our Patreon book club that we run with our second 2 top tiers. And we run it bi-monthly, and it's all about reading indie books. So I'm very, very excited about this. I actually literally know nothing about this book. I'm not gonna lie. Something about the world changing and ancient immortals. That's really all I got from it. I'm really excited to read this one, though. I think that The Umbral Storm had very expansive world building, unique elements to it, and was just a whole lot of fun, and that's what I'm also hoping I get from The Crimson Queen, and I really hope it's a win for us because the Indie Archive has not been so successful this year, but I'm really, really, really hoping that this one is a win for us so that we can continue the series, because if we do like book 1, we will be reading book 2 in September. That was not my last roll, so let's do another. I forgot to slide down the snake, but the video's already filmed, so we're just gonna leave it as is. Thank you! One last roll, hopefully. Hopefully there are 2 snakes in my vicinity. Come on, last roll, please, please, please. 3. 1, 2, 3. A mood read. And then we landed on mood, so the board finally decided to be nice to me at the end of the day on my last roll. And I still had a required read that I hadn't gotten on, so my mood read will be Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, which was technically the read for June, but the live show isn't till the second weekend of July. The live show will be July 9th, the Sunday, at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And I have already read this series. It is a reread for me, but I'm very excited to read it with all of my friends. This follows Nona, who ends up at the convent for assassin nuns called Sweet Mercy, and she goes through a bunch of training and learns about the magic system and learns about an eternal war that is happening within this civilization for the last of the green land, because the ice is slowly crawling closer and closer and closer. I adore this series. It's one of my favorite series, so I'm very excited. This will be my first reread as an adult, but I'm very excited for it, and I cannot wait. What a way to end my TBR, because that's 10 books. 10 books that I need to read in July, which, like, to be honest, is not even all of my reading plans. If you watched my summer TBR video that talked about a lot of the reading plans that I have for the next coming months, I don't think I can do them all, but here I am attempting to do them all. And we're gonna see how much I can read, how much I can push myself. It is wedding season, maybe a lot of audiobooks. The only problem is a lot of these are fantasy romance or indie, which don't tend to have audiobooks, so I might struggle on that front, but I'm very excited for all of these books. I think I'm gonna have some really good reading in July. That's a pretty nice stack of books. Thank you so much for hanging out for my TBR. Let me know down below in the comments if there is a book that you're excited to read in July, if you're participating in any of the book clubs I'm a part of. I'm so excited. I love being a part of book clubs. If you just want to leave me an emoji to say you were here, leave me a castle emoji. And then if you want to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Goodreads, my Book Talk, and my Patreon are all linked in the description bar below. Have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.